Broadcasts of the City of Neenah Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents via the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues or about these broadcasts by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or by completing the electronic feedback form on the city website, www.neenahgov.org. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.
I'd like to call to order the Neenah Common Council meeting for Wednesday, October 3rd, 2018. The first item of business is the roll call. Members of the council will answer the clerk as your name is called and sign in on the roll call machine.
Alderman Boyette.
Here.
Bates.
Here.
Hillstrom.
Here.
Blendrum.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Lang.
Here.
Steele.
Here.
Coons.
Here.
Stevenson.
Here. There's a quorum present. All members are present. If you'd join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Alderman Marge Bates.
My bad.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
We have a few additional items in addition to our regular agenda items tonight, but we're really excited. We have a presentation from the Wisconsin Historical Society museum called the Museum Exhibit Award, presented to Jane Lang, the director of the Neenah Historical Society, for the Neenah Historical Society's exhibit Making a Hometown, Life in Neenah's Progressive Era. We'd like to welcome here tonight Christian Overland, who's the director of the Wisconsin Historical Society. Sure. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Your Honor, Mayor Cuffer, and to the distinguished city council persons, and to the people of Neenah, and special guests as well, too. I'm Christian Overland, director of the Wisconsin Historical Society, and it's a pleasure to be here with you to celebrate with you this great accomplishment your community has achieved. And you may know about this Historical Society for what we do. We have 12 museums, we have the State Historic Preservation Office, we have the Research Library with a massive collection of state history, but also North American history. And we also have the programs and outreach and education piece with publications that reach out to students, teachers, and the public across the great state of Wisconsin. We also have something that people really don't know about, and that is the 1898 legislation for our local history affiliates. And what that happened is that in 1898, the legislature enacted an act for us to actually work with public organizations and historical societies across the state. It was the first in the country. Wisconsin, another first of first. That's one thing for your exhibit. And the idea is that the society would create a network to pull together history, thinking about local history as a way to talk about our state history and to help out and encourage history in our communities. So 1899, Ripon, and also Green Bay were the first two cities that came online with that. Today we have 408 historical organizations throughout the state in all 72 counties that are part of this network. And so it's a thriving opportunity for the state of Wisconsin. We do a couple of things with that network. We hold a conference each year. We're doing it in Elkhart Lake this month, to talk about standards and ideas in education and history. But we also look at organizations that do great work and recognize their excellence with that. And we're here tonight on behalf of the Board of Curators for the Historical Society to honor the Neenah Historical Society for their work and exhibition in making a hometown life in Neenah's progressive era. I had an opportunity to go see that exhibit moments before I came here, and it's truly outstanding. One of the things that we look for in our jury of historians that are not just the Historical Society, but they're from across the state, is looking for, are they doing new scholarship? Are they creating relevance? Is it local history that has a regional and national impact? And we check the boxes with this exhibition. The other thing that I was delighted is it taught me new things about your community. It combines the idea of the progressive era of the businesses, but also the civic organizations and how they work together. And its relevance today, like the brigade. I did not know about that the brigade is such a thriving organization for our youth in this community. So today, we're here to celebrate with you. And if you don't know, the Neenah Historical Society has done a terrific job. They've won 3 of these awards before. So now we're getting another one for you. And I'd like to tell you that it is a privilege in my job to come to communities like yours and recognize the people that do the work in the community, that do this impact work throughout our state. And actually, I would say about the nation too. One of the things I'm going to talk to my colleagues about is how we can help market organizations like the Neenah Historical Society and connect them throughout the state. So if I may, can I give this award to Jane Lang, the Executive Director of the Neenah Historical Society. And also I'd like to recognize Stephen Sheehan, who's the doctor at the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley, for his efforts in working together. What we're really proud of this award too is the collaboration that they have in working together and working with other organizations. So without further ado, Jane.
Fred, you can get closer. Not at home. Jane, would you like to say it?
Please.
I am just so very thankful and pleased that Dr. Christian Overland could come up actually drove up from Milwaukee today, traveling around the state, but so just grateful for this recognition of our current exhibit and appreciate so much the work that you do, and just really thrilled that we were able to share what makes our community such a great hometown with you today. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Before I leave, I just wanted to say to you and remind you that we're here for you. We're the state historical agency to do things like this, but also to connect for your community, whether it's in education or resources that you need. So call upon us. It is our job for my entire team to serve you. And thank you for listening tonight, and thank you for your support of education.
We appreciate you taking the time to visit us.
It's our pleasure.
I can tell you, former legislator, and see some of the great treasures that the Historical Society mines. Under your purview now. So you do a great job and continue doing great things that you've done. Proud to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you for coming again. Next on the agenda is the introduction and swearing in of the newly appointed Neenah Water Utility Director, Anthony Mock. Tony, would you like to swear him in? Come up to the podium. Your son are welcome to join you if you'd like. Come on. Wife can too if she wants. Take that.
Okay. If you'll raise your right hand. I, Tony Mack,
I, Tony Mock,
having been appointed
having been appointed
Director of the Neenah Water Utility
Director of the Neenah Water Utility
for the City of Neenah,
for the City of Neenah,
Winnebago County,
Winnebago County,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Wisconsin,
of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully discharge the duties
and will faithfully discharge the duties
of Neenah Water Utility Director
of Neenah Water Utility Director
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
You're a bigwig now, so we'd like to introduce, we would like you to feel free to say a few words.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate the opportunity. And to everyone on the council, thank you very much. To everyone on the Water Commission, thank you very much as well. It's a great opportunity for me. I was water quality manager for only a few years and learned quite a bit. I had the opportunity to take over this position, and I think that we're looking for great days ahead. So thank you very much again.
I'll give you one other little hint. You always thank your wife. And
Thank
introduce
my
yourself.
wife, Jill, my son, Andrew.
You're not a politician, I get
That's
it.
okay. It's my first time.
It's still in the protocol, so welcome
you.
and congratulations. We're real proud and we're real excited to have Tony on board as the new water director.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. Item number 2, introduction and confirmation of some mayor's appointments. Mayor Crawford's appointment of Mike Kading to the Sports Facility Advisory Committee for a 3-year term to expire April 2021. Each community is allowed, they're asking for a representative to continue to shepherd on that advisory committee. So I would like to appoint Mike Kading. Up to this point, Mike Easker, Chris Hayes, I believe, and Mike Kading have all been involved in the subcommittees, but this is the actual advisory committee for this new sports facility. So is there a motion?
Move to confirm the mayor's appointment.
Second.
There's a motion by Stevenson, seconded by Bates. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor will vote aye, all opposed will vote no. That motion passes 9-0. Item B, Mayor Crawford's appointment of Kevin Miska to fill the expired term of Lori Zettler on the Committee of Aging. This term will expire September 2020. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
A motion by Alderman Bates.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Lundrum. You all got his bio on that, but I will tell you, Kevin's a friend of mine. He works for Lakeland, which is a care facility, Lakeland Care, who provide care in the area. So he's going to be a helpful addition, I think. All in favor will vote aye. All opposed will vote no. There we go. That motion passes 9-0. Mayor Crawford's appointment of Sarah Hanneman to fill the unexpired term of Amy Barker on the Neenah Arts Council. Term expires April 2019.
Move to confirm the mayor's appointment.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Stevenson, seconded by Alderman Coons. Is there any questions or discussion? All in favor will vote aye. All opposed will vote no, using the roll call, please. That motion also passes 9-0. And the Mayor Crawford's reappointment of Arthur Schmeichel and Michael Smaby to the Waterworks Commission for a 5-year term that will expire in October 2023. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Stevenson, seconded by Boyette. Any discussion on that? If not, all in favor will vote aye, all opposed vote no. That motion passes 9-0. Would you like to swear in Mike Kading? Okay, is that okay, Mike? We'll swear you in tomorrow? Or? All right. Okay, we'll swear you in tomorrow. No, that's okay. Approval of the council proceedings of September 19th, regular session and committee of the whole, September 19th minutes. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
There's a motion by Lindrum, seconded by Alderman Hillstrom. Any discussion? Questions? corrections, additions? Being none, all in favor, vote aye. All opposed, vote no. There are no public hearings. That motion passes 9-0. There are no public hearings tonight, no plan commission reports. The next item of business is the public forum, item number 6. Public forum, just so people watch at home know, is an opportunity for citizens to come down, say hello to the council, discuss any topic that they may be on their mind, offer suggestions, criticism. So we encourage people to come join us the first and third Wednesday of the month. We have a public forum each one of those meetings. So all we ask is you give your name and you keep your comments less than 5 minutes. So with that, I will open up the public forum. Is there anyone here who would like to address the council? Chief, come on up. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. I just want to take this opportunity during the public forum to introduce our newest canine, who is a very sweet dog compared to our other dog, potentially. He actually lets you pet him. So with that, I'll let Zach Mulroy is our new handler, doing a phenomenal job. And this is Bobby. And I'll let Zach give you an introduction, tell you about his training, and that they actually made a drug arrest in their very first night.
Officer Mulroy, can you go by the microphone? Is it okay? Thank you. Thanks.
29th, we completed our second certification through American Police through American Police Canine Association. We were on the road for 3 days before that, certified through the kennel. First find or arrest was the first night. We got some marijuana and some paraphernalia out of there. He's trained in tracking, narc detection, bite work, patrol work, protection work, off. And also article searches. That's something, any 4 and older, someone drops a phone or anything like that. Here. Obviously, he's very focused on his ball.
I thought it was me.
Yeah, no.
But he seems to be hitting on Alderman Stevenson's chair.
Changed my clothes before I came.
So this is what he works for. He's not trying to find drugs. He's trying to find his ball, because whenever he finds the drugs, I pay him with the ball. So obviously good ball drive, which is, as we all saw, he has. So that's what motivates them to work for the drugs. Obviously we have that with him. Very good at tracking. He looks like a nice friendly dog now, but turns into a different dog when it comes to protection work. But very obedient dog. We got a lot of work to do with him yet. Very young. He'll be 2 in November. Here. Sit. Sit. Good boy, Blyven. Oh. So he'll be 2 in November. We'll continue training with him. I'd keep up. Hopefully we can advance him on to helping him to use him for some tactical situations as well, to keep that another option as a less lethal option, and go from there. So work never ends with him. We do stuff every single day to keep him. Otherwise, he'll drive me nuts at home. If we don't do something, he'll drive me nuts. So even throughout the shift, he sits in the back of the car. So we got to get out and do some sort of training with him, because he just wants to keep going and working and stuff like that. So very motivated dog, and looking forward to continue to make him grow.
So who wants to catch the ball?
I'll volunteer the mayor.
I'll second.
Any questions for Zach before he hits the road?
Alderman Erickson.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
When you make a traffic stop, does he come along with you to get the license and go up to the car, or how does that work when you make a traffic stop?
Not initially. He'll be in the back of my car until we do all our initial, just like a normal traffic stop. We'll do all our initial stuff. Obviously, get some people there to get the individuals out of the car, and then if we have enough to run him around the car, then everyone will be isolated to the side of the vehicle, and then I'll get him out and do his little ritual before we go to work, let him break, and then we'll go work the car.
Leave and they can answer, but you can't just send a dog on every car. You just have to have
Yes.
probable cause to use the
Yep,
dog. Is that correct?
Reasonable suspicion to run the dog around the car. So we got to have
Odor.
something. We just got to have a little more than a hunch to run him around the car. We got to get some facts and stuff.
So in the example that you gave that he made his first drug find or whatever, you had some suspicion, you brought the dog out and he confirmed it, is that correct?
It was kind of a cheating one for him, but I wanted to see, it was the first deployment on the road, so he kind of, the arresting officer, the gentleman actually had a warrant and had some paraphernalia on him.
Okay.
So we knew that was in the vehicle. I just wanted, this was the first real life deployment with him. I want to see how he would react to the public and all that stuff. So I had a pretty good notion that he was going to indicate on the car. We ended up finding other items throughout the vehicle as well as that, but it was more training for him to see how he reacts to the real life scenario, because up until then we were in a training based world where there's not many distractions out there for him. So I wanted to see how he would work and how he would focus. It's right here. Sit. Good boy. So just to see where his mind was at as well as mine, because like I said, there's a lot going on as well. So he did very well with that. He's starting to understand a little more. He's got a lot of puppy drive left in him, but he's starting to understand a little more that, oh, when I get out of the car, I got a chance to get this. Mm-hmm. So that's what he likes to work for. So it went well. And last night we had a couple more sniffs with him, and like I said, he's picking it up very quick. He's learning very quickly. That's probably the most amazing thing from you start week 1 with him, and he's running around you in circles, and then you go to week 4, and it's amazing how fast they learn and pick up. Sit. Off. Good boy. Nope.
Alderman Bates, you have a question?
Yes, I was wondering if his name Bobby was a nod to a British police officer?
Um,
I don't know if it was or not.
It's cute, though.
Cute.
Yeah.
See?
Right where you want him. I disagreed with the name, but he's the handler. So
He was already 1.5 when we picked him. So that's what he's been getting called his whole life. We had the opportunity to change it down there, but that's what he was getting called for his whole life. So stuck it out with that. Plus, it's got to be one of the only police canines in the United States named Bobby. So,
Alderman Boyette?
So I'm just curious, is he trained specifically for narcotics, or can he sense out other illegal things like gunpowder and bomb stuff? And
he is specifically trained for narcotics work. Okay. However, he not necessarily, I guess, illegal items, but give a scenario, bank robbery, someone they throws his mask or gun or anything, he's trained alert on foreign odor as well. So he smells something that's out of the ordinary, he'll lay down by it, and what he likes to do is he sits and bats at it and he'll bark and everything like that until I come up and see what it is. So for detection wise, he is just trained for narcotics. However, he can pick up like the foreign odors of people's clothes and stuff like that.
so somebody is running and they change their clothes or something, this dog would be able to find perhaps the trail where the clothes were dropped.
Once he starts, if I get him on a track, people drop very specific scent.
Sure.
So he's tracking everything that's on there. Here. Come here. It's by your foot. Might get here. Sit. So once he starts on the track, he's tracking the smell that the person's kicking up on the grass, the pavement, as well as the adrenaline that's coming off the person and their specific odor to their bottom of their feet. He's trained in ground disturbance tracking, which is what that is. But he also, a true dog's instinct is he'll pick his face up and he'll scent. But basically we train so you lay one track with one person, then other people walk across that track. He should, which he has already, stay on that track that we started on because he knows that's what I'm looking for. I'm reassuring him that when he's on that track, that's what I'm looking for out of him. So when he comes into someone else's track, he'll check it out, but he'll keep going because he imprinted in his mind is that specific scent that I want him to find.
And this is difficult for him to sit here and be still and behave.
It is.
And
It is. So he's picking it up fairly quickly. He likes the track. He figures that out. He's got as soon as I get the harness out, he starts going nuts. He knows what he's doing already. So, but he's picking up, learning very quickly for the age he's at.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Officer Mulroy, we appreciate we all appreciate the fact that of your commitment and your willingness to be the canine handler. This is a lot of extra work and duty and training, and so we appreciate it. And we welcome Bobby into the ranks of the Neenah Police Department. He gets a badge and everything, I presume, and he gets sworn in and everything. So, so that's it's exciting for us. So. And now we'll be ready to go when Cedric retires. So we appreciate your commitment.
Absolutely. Looking forward to progressing, get better with him. So
good.
Every
Thank
day.
you very much.
Absolutely.
Thanks for bringing him by.
No problem. Come on, heel.
Anything else, Chief?
Just real quick, I'd like to thank you guys for approving this for our second dog, because without your approval, then obviously we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you very much.
Good. Thanks. We are in the public forum. Is there anyone else from the public or anyone else who'd like to speak before the council? Come on up, Mr. Gill. Welcome.
I feel very honored to speak in front of the council. And I have a couple of issues I want to bring to your attention. First of all, I'm very happy it is conclusion council pass to not to sale or possession e-cigarette to minors. I'm not smoking, I never smoke. I'm not promoting smoking, especially to minors. In my opinion, it's very serious because they don't know what's wrong, what's right. Somebody selling them, somebody providing them, it's very serious. So in their possession, when you ban it, it's very good. It go in the media, go in other city, maybe other city will follow it. So it's very nice.
Mr. Gill, could you tell us your address, your business?
Yeah, my first name, Amritpal, Amritpal, last name Gill, Gill, owner Gill Liquor, Neenah, 1117 South Commercial Street. And it's very nice when you pass this one. Even before, in the Fox Valley history, mostly anything go wrong in the society, Neenah will be taking lead. I remember one time when synthetic marijuana came to, first Neenah was who banned it. Then every city followed it. So same way, I believe even FDA doing very good job right now. They raid today the manufacturer of Hulge. So probably locals, other city council will follow you. Another thing is, but directly affecting me in my business, and my opinion is, I don't think so gambling should have any room in our society. This is my personal opinion. Gambling lead to many, many problems after that. It destroys the families. Lots of time, people for hope, they can make money, they lost the whole paycheck. Then they don't have any money for feed the kids. It leads to crime. When somebody lost money, can't sleep, then they're looking at drugs. So if we're saying we fight against the drugs, we also need to fight against not to become in that atmosphere so people get into that. So this is a first step. So we need to stop this illegal gambling going on all the gas stations. So in my case, smoke still be 1/3 sale of my business. All the gas stations have I'm not saying all of them mean like, individually owned gas station, not the corporate owned, have a gambling machines. They make money on the gambling machine, but then they're not making money on the product. They're selling, every gas station individually owned selling smoke on 6%. People pay with the credit cards, 2-3% go on the credit card, 3-4% not enough to pay the expense. If you follow it, my other item, if you go beer, all the grocery stores selling beer cheap, because they're making money in the grocery. Even I see a couple of grocery store, even they put hard liquor in the grocery side and put on the 6%. If I put everything to try to compete with them with 6%, my door will not be open. So I'm still working here 7 days a week since I'm here in 9th year. So it's not possible for me rest of life to work 7 days a week. So I need to make money. So I need to make money on a product. When other people selling at 6%, I can't go up. So we need to find a way. So especially on the gas station. So I read there is a court judgment by the Wisconsin county judge. I sent one copy to every alderman, and plus I sent copy to the police chief, police department too. So it's openly they say it's not illegal, it's illegal. All the phone charge and other thing. So when Governor Tommy Thompson, he allow only for tavern, 5 machines. For gas station, he not allow at all. So in my opinion, for me, so it's hurting me. My opinion should not be at all. I will never participate in that. I will not participate in that. I never sold those K2 synthetic marijuana, even it was not illegal. I don't have even any illegal item in my store. I always try to obey every law. So same way, in my opinion, anyone who applying license to city, he should obey every law by the city, state, and federal law. If somebody not obeying the laws, so up to city, how they will treat it. If somebody lying in their application as amusement, so it's a city issue. So in my opinion, a situation like, city should ask a report from the police chief, how many licenses we have in the gas station, what they do here. So then the city decide what to do it. But it's affecting me. So for me, it's very important. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Anyone else like to address the council? Anna?
Hello, my name is Michael Pagel, and this is my landlord, Christy Seidel. We live on Higgins Avenue. We were kind of directed to come to the city for a nuisance neighbor issue. We've tried going to the police. We've tried talking with our insurance agents to see what we could do. And we were directed to come to the city to see what we could do.
Or who we could talk to for some help.
Yeah.
Can you discuss the issue, or would you rather do it in private?
That's completely up to you guys. 631 Higgins Avenue. Weigh in.
Without naming any names or anything, if you could just give us what's going on.
I can't give too many details, but Officer Stu's working on an abatement, but that takes months and months to do. So I can't give the details without knowing.
What's the neighborhood?
Can I, without giving?
Sure, just give your name and address.
My name's Christy Seidel. My address is 631.5. I live upstairs Higgins Avenue in Neenah. With winter coming, it is difficult for us to get out of our driveway right now because we have a shared driveway. And the neighbors are parked so far over that I literally, tonight, I'm going to move my side mirror on my car. I'm going to move it over so that I don't hit their car and I don't take that off with the telephone pole. With winter coming and the snow, there have been numerous problems. We've had the police, and you guys, I'm sorry. I don't do police. I don't do trouble. And I can't take it anymore.
All right. I will
Thank the police, though.
I will say that I know our code enforcement officer has been to that property, to your property on numerous times. Your husband and I have, I think, corresponded on some issues. The code enforcement officer has done a good job of taking care of some of the things. But if there's more, I just would urge you to continue to work with either the police, or you can come in and talk to me. Come in and talk to me. Come to the front desk, ask Patty or Joni, and we can sit down privately and discuss, and I can work with the police department. We'll see what we can do, okay?
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming. Anyone else? All right. So get a hold of Joni Hines or Patty Stern in the clerk's office tomorrow, okay? Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? All right. Thank you all for coming. Mayor, council consideration. Is there any comments about what we listened to at public hearing, public forum? Alderman Bates, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. In reference to the illegal gambling at gas stations, I was just looking up the email and the article that Mr. Gill sent us, and I'm just wondering if the chief is still here. Is this a complaint-driven thing? Is it something that
I met with DCI on Friday about this, and at this time I don't really want to talk too much about it. I want to wait and work with DCI a little bit more on that.
Would you be able to, when you find something out, maybe schedule a meeting with Public Services and Safety, and then we'll invite Mr. Gill back to see what we stand on things?
State your request again.
I was going to say that when he finds out something that we can discuss at Public Service and Safety, that we can invite Mr. Gill back and he can hear what's about his concerns. Because I don't know that much about the issue, and
Sure.
I mean, from reading this, it appears that something's...
That's fine. I mean, I would just say, he sent me the article also, and I've made one inquiry about this. One judge has ruled, this judge has ruled that they're illegal. As I understand, they're going to appeal that ruling, and so I don't know what that means for the law, Jim, or whatever, but they're going to appeal it, but we'll see. Maybe you and Jim can talk too. Okay?
So that when
then we'll get
Attorney Godlewski gets something, he can maybe give us a
Thank you.
discussion topic. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one, I will close the council mayor consideration of those public forum issues. Item number 8 is the consent agenda. We do have some guests here. Would someone like to take item B off this consent agenda, or are you going to ask questions? Alderman Stevenson?
I'll ask that item B from the consent agenda be reported out separately.
Okay. By request, right? Okay. Is there a motion on the remainder of the items?
I will, at the same time, I'll move for the approval of consent agenda minus item B.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the rest of the consent items. Any discussion? All in favor will vote aye. All opposed vote no. Roll call machine. That motion passes 9-0. Item number 9 is a special Public Services Safety Committee meeting of October 3rd. Chairperson Bates.
Thank you. The committee recommends council approval of the route amendment for the street use permit for St. Joe's 5K Run Walk, which is held on October 13th, 2018, and I would so move.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Alderman Hillstrom regarding the road amendment tonight. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor vote aye. All opposed vote no using the roll call machine. That motion passes 9-0. Item number C.
Reporting out from the regular Public Service and Safety Committee meeting of September 25th, that those minutes can be found on the city website with a slight change that I did not vote for the high school parade, but I will report that out right now. The committee recommends approval of the street use permit for the Neenah High School Homecoming Parade, sponsored by Vicki Strabel, or city sponsored by Vicky Strable, 1275 Teller Road, Neenah, to be held on October 5th, 2018, with the understanding that this same route will not be approved in 2019. The parade organizers must work with the city and downtown businesses to develop a route that recognizes the need for public safety and access, and staff is to provide a breakdown of costs for this event as well.
Is there a motion? Alderman Stevenson?
Move to approve the special use permit for the Neenah High School homecoming parade on October 5th with the conditions as recommended by the committee.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the parade permit, special use permit. We have some guests here tonight. You want to ask questions, or would you like them to explain what the thought process and the plan is? Alderman Bates?
I just want to explain that the reason I voted against it is because, from what we understood, is there was an initial plan that stopped the parade before it got to the second bridge crossing, and it all comes down to closing 2 bridges that go to the hospital, and we don't have any other way to get to the hospital. So they've got some ideas on how to improve that. I was just not comfortable with that, so I would be happy to hear from them. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I would just quickly, and I'll invite Brian Wunderlich, who's a principal, up, along with Vicky Strable. Officer Kufel's still here. Officer Kufel serves on the Special Events Committee. James Merton and I have been involved in some of these discussions. We were trying to find a way to keep one road open, Commercial Street. We thought we had an alternative. They have come up with a plan that they believe will work and tend to do what we're trying to do, and that's to try and keep one of the roads open. They have an alternative that they would like to try this year. I think one key component of this last year was the year that everything came to a head because it started at 4 p.m. last year instead of 5 p.m. The reason was they didn't have school that day. So by moving it up an hour, we hit the prime time at about 4:15, 4:30 when people are trying to go home. Going back to 5 p.m., which they'll then hit probably 5:15, the first opening. So we did have a kind of a route established that we thought would work. They asked if they could try this one more year, and I'd like, I would say this. They're kind of a victim of their own success because the homecoming parade, they have done a heck of a job, Vicky and the administration, of getting kids fired up about the homecoming parade, participating in the homecoming parade. I remember when I was in high school, I kind of remember. But we didn't have the participation. It was kind of, 8, 9 units. Now they have quite a few units. We've added the Hall of Fame folks who are in on Saturday, which is a huge honor for those Hall of Fame people, and we want to properly recognize them, and their families are there. So we've kind of become a victim of our own success here because we have a very fun parade. The key component is, we have parades and people come out. The community really comes out for the homecoming parade, and I think that's important. But finding a way to do this with a safe route for police, fire, EMS is also important. That's our job. And to make sure that people can get to Theda Clark, the trauma center, when they need it. The officers have communication and technology now where I think that they can, I'm willing to give them a try and see if they can pull this new plan off. And, we still have to be cognizant of the fact that not everyone comes up to the corner with red lights and siren. Someone might be coming with mom in the back seat who's not feeling well and things like that. So got to make sure we have ways to get those people through the parade and get them to the proper hospital in a amount of time, because we do not want to be responsible for anything happening too. So with that, I'm going to invite them to come up, share what they think they can pull off this year, and we've talked, and I'm willing to give it a try this year and see how it goes. Welcome.
We appreciate first the mayor and the rest of the city officials that we've worked with to try to get to a plan that makes sense. We spoke with some businesses. Obviously, most of our kids either grew up as young Rockets waiting to get into the homecoming parade, and now they're in it. And if you've never participated, there's something pretty magical when you come to our downtown. I think the first time I experienced it, I'm like, God, this is like Mayberry. I didn't grow up in Neenah. So it's pretty special for us.
Chief, what does that make you?
Pretty cool.
So we certainly appreciate the ability to try to problem solve and work through and continue the route that we're used to. Last year, as Mayor Coffert had said, we came up an hour early, and that was the first time that we had ever heard that there were some legitimate concerns. I think at the same time, 441 was going through some significant construction, which it has most of my lifetime. But extra drivers were routed through the downtown area, and it was a legitimately congested time. So what we're proposing at this point is we have, I believe, 26 units as part of our parade. Unit 14 will be the Shattuck Band. So if you can imagine, 13 units going through, many of them trucks with like the Hall of Fame people in, or fishing club or whatever it might be, not like semis of floats. 13 through, so Oak Street's open till the first one gets there. Oak Street then closes for 13 units to go through. I'd say that's 7 minutes at the max, 5 minutes probably more realistically. Unit 14 then would be the Shattuck Band. The Shattuck Band would stop short of Oak Street and play a song. So the people that are on the corner there by the library, closer to Riverside Park, Wisconsin Avenue right there, are going to get treated to the Shattuck Band playing a song, which they're pretty excited about. They get to be the highlight. As they pause and the rest of us pull through, Oak Street opens back up. The timing then is those first 13 would be coming about to Commercial Street. Commercial Street would be shut while Oak Street is open. We keep rolling through. Shattuck plays their one song. We get 3 to 4 or 5 minutes of traffic moving back on Oak, so hopefully Oak is no longer anyone sitting there. Shattuck Band continues again. Us 13 would be through Commercial, so Commercial could open until the Shattuck Band gets there, so you get another 5 minutes of traffic going. So at no time should both of them be closed at the same time. That's our best thinking, but I work at a high school with teenagers, and I know not everything goes according to plan.
I also want to add that I worked with our athletic director and Public Works in going through downtown, and at the end, we used to end at Church, and then we would double back to unload our floats back across Commercial Street, which would double up the problem. And so we worked it out, and we want to appreciate Public Works. But the Millview parking lot that the city owns, that we're going to be allowed to just keep going straight through to Main Street, around the corner, and then the floats that need to dump some of their, whatever they decorate will go right there. And then we have parents picking up right there, or the floats that are not floats, but the people in the parade can just go straight west back to the high school. So I think that would help the congestion as well. I just wanted to add that. So we're trying.
John, you have anything? Go ahead.
Lieutenant Kufel, by the way.
We'll make it work.
Sorry. Thank you for the explanation. Alderman Bates.
Yeah, there was a couple of things at committee that we had heard that the committee that looks over, the subcommittee that looks over this, which Officer Kufel is, and at that time he did have reservations, and that there was no one there from your group to us to ask the questions of, which puts us on a bad foot right there. So my question is when you have, we're going to have to put signage up. That's one thing, because we were talking about if you're coming down Oak Street and you see that it's blocked, you're not going to know, I should go over to Commercial Street in order to get through. But then once you get over there, that's going to be blocked. So any of us who have elderly parents who have heart problems are just like, oh my gosh. We do have the situation with some of our other parades, perhaps the 4th of July, that we block off things. So we know things can get through, but what sort of officers are you going to do? And the last question I had is, if there was a plan that you had before that stopped at the towers, why did it, who decided it had to go the next blocks and block off Commercial Street? So why did it change from something we were comfortable with and Public Works was comfortable with to having it to go downtown?
That initial, after last year's and for years, it has been a problem. It's 5 o'clock, rush hour downtown Neenah. It's never been pretty. We've called our night shift in and we make it work. So we started talking at the Special Events Task Force to try to find a better solution. Cutting off both Commercial and Oak Street is not ideal. And if we can find a happy medium, that's what we tried to do when we met with the high school. At the high school, I forgot when that was, in July. I think it was, we tried to come up with a happy medium. And at that point, the meeting said, well, we'll continue to talk about it. And at some point, we said, okay, or we were told that it was agreed upon that we're going to keep this route for this year. So James and I were like, okay, we'll make it work. We have in the past, and that's how we stuck with this route.
Yeah, I guess I just want to know, was there some sort of businesses downtown that was asking you to complete it? Or who is it that we have to talk to find out, can we move it? Can we tweak it in a better way?
I think one of my concerns would be if we stop at the towers, we're going to further congest downtown because all of our parents come to one spot to then get their kids and whatnot. So we thought extending, getting past the downtown and then getting all of our kids out, for lack of a better term, west of the downtown area, we would have been in the heart of downtown with everyone transcending. We'd have all these people coming to that location and then trying to disperse. It just seemed like that was a worse solution.
So it wasn't the businesses downtown that were requesting you to go in front of them?
I got a handful of emails when word got out that we weren't coming downtown. Not real happy about it. But that was to me, and that was
all right.
Not my job.
So I guess the next request I have is that starting the day after homecoming, you start figuring out whether it's pushing it on the other side of town and ending at the high school, which a lot of the other high schools do, or just figuring out a way to maybe loop around that end and not come towards Oak Street is just a thought. Thank you.
Alderman Boyette, you have a question?
Yeah, I do. So how many entries in your parade?
26.
And if I could just ask Director Kading, how many do we generally have for the light parade, give or take? So close to that. So we're looking at probably the same size parade we do for the July 3rd parade, just probably different timing and different celebration. And yet we don't have this big problem for that parade, do we? Or do we?
It's all about timing. The 4th of July parade is
3rd of July, but yeah.
3rd of July, but people aren't trying to get to and from work. We can make it a little bit easier because there's not much traffic downtown. Friday night at 5 that's where the problems come in. You have high volumes of traffic of people leaving Alta, Plexus. That's just normal day traffic. We don't have that on the 3rd of July for the light parade at 8 p.m.
So, and I don't mean to, you guys have this task force and you think about this and everything else. I'm just curious if the thought was to potentially maybe go down by the pool instead of the businesses. And I know it's residential and you probably have other issues, but I don't know. I'm just trying to help with the situation because I agree. I live on the island, and when there's a parade I'm not interested in, I can't get off the island because the roads are closed. So I get it. And with the hospital and the safety issues, that's for you guys to figure out. So I was just curious on size-wise, and thank you.
Alderman Coons.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I'm excited just to see the engineering of this. So that'll be exciting. I think ultimately we can try to solve this, but we've already given them that order that's in the motion that we find another solution. So I think we're clear on that. But I think it's one of those where this is an issue we have with many different events, whether it's the marathon or any number of them that cut through those. So at some point we're going to want to look not say for this one event, but for any event, what's the best way? Because people want to use our downtown. I think it's great because we have a great downtown. So how do we do it successfully for any event, whether it be any parade, we have many of them, or any other running event or any other event we have going on? it's that same issue. We have a traffic study going on as well. We have all kinds of different things going on. I'm hoping that that's hopefully part of it, that we're thinking of pedestrian and bike as well, and all these other pieces as we move forward into these things. Our downtown's exciting, but it is the thoroughfare for right now, how you get from the freeway to the island, to Menasha, to all kinds of things. So we have to be cognizant of that, but it's not this one event, it's every event. Gives you guys a nice challenge. James has probably got some spreadsheets worked out on the engineering of some funky new plans, but I look forward to them. I look forward to this event.
James, are we putting out the signs, informational signs tomorrow, or what? Is there a plan to put out some informational just to at least alert motorists that there's a parade Friday at 5? Okay. I think that would be helpful to at least get the word out.
We also talked to Officer Zules, and he also put it out on Facebook and social media sites. And the school also made contact with the bigger businesses just to let them know, the Ascension and Plexus, because we're rounding the curve now onto Main Street, just to give them a heads up and just to kind of let them know what's going on.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Well, we appreciate you taking the time to come here tonight. Like I said, I'm willing to give this a shot, and hopefully you can pull it off, and then we'll see. We'll look at it afterwards. I think you're doing a great job. Last couple of years, I've seen participation grow, and I think that's a good thing. So get them away from the video games for a while and get them to go to the parade. So keep up the good work and go Rockets.
Thank you.
So there is a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion signify by, will vote aye. All opposed will vote no using the roll call machine. That motion passes 8-1. Okay, thank you.
From the regular Public Service and Safety Committee meeting of September 25th, the committee recommends council approve the We Energy requests for easements for Douglas Park, work request 412-6006, and Wilderness Park, work request 410-3922, with the provisions that We Energies notify city staff 2 weeks prior to the start of work and complete restoration within 30 days following completion of work, pending weather conditions, and I would so move.
There's a motion by Alderman Bates. Is there a second? Or a second by Alderman Lang. Discussion on this request. Alderman Bates.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the fact that our director considers perhaps problems that we had previously and works to put it in the contract or agreement with We Energies to get things done in a compressed manner and less impact on neighbors. So I appreciate his work on that.
Okay, thank you. What else? Seeing none, there's a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion will vote aye. All opposed in the roll call machine. That motion passes 9-0.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you for your report, Chairperson Bates. Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of September 24th. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. Reporting out from the regular Finance and Personnel Committee meeting of September 24th, 2018. Minutes can be found on the city website. Item number 1, the committee recommends council approve the amended development agreement extending the deadline to complete the Coral Court development as described in Article 12 of the TID number 11 development agreement, pushing it back to January 1st, 2021. And I so move.
There's a motion by Chairperson Erickson.
Second.
Is there a second? There's a second by Alderman Lindrum. Any discussion? Discussion, Alderman Bates. Turn it over to Alderman Stevenson so I can get some water.
Oh, thank you. I was wondering, perhaps Director Hayes knows, where do we stand with that? I mean, it's an area they were going to buy up some homes and clear some areas out. What will be done and what won't be done for the next extra year?
The homes are acquired. They're slated for demolition. The project is essentially still on schedule. The only thing that and the reason we have the change is that the construction initiation of construction is probably going to be pushed out a little bit. So it's not going to have substantial completion at the end of, or at the beginning of 2019. We may very well hit the $2 million increment provision, but the substantial completion part is very unlikely.
So if they hit, they're partially done, for tax purposes, are they assessed at January 1st for what they've got done at January 1st? It's not saying, well, it's still not done yet, we're going to wait. We get whatever values there at January 1.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Alderperson Linder.
Thank you, Council President. Were you there, Chris, at that meeting? Okay.
I don't know. At the finance committee?
At the finance meeting? Okay. So was the developer there?
No.
Okay. I guess I have that same question that I had emailed you about if he was planning on changing anything other than like the footprint. Was he planning on changing any kind of business model, like subsidized housing or anything like that with that?
I think what the developer is looking at is the original proposal or concept, if you will, was looking more at a garden-style apartment. And by that, if you're familiar with the units that are out in front of the city garage, 2-story upper loaner units, that type of development. And they're feeling right now that in the market, which includes more than just Neenah, that there may be too many of those units. So they're looking at doing something different, and it may be more of a townhouse style development there. So we have started to see some conceptuals in that regard. So it hasn't really changed the business model. It changes the type, but it would be market rate units like we had planned all along.
100%.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the amended development agreement. Other discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion will vote aye electronically. All opposed will vote no. That motion passes unanimously.
Item number 2, the committee recommends council approve resolution number 2018-22, designating Prospera Credit Union as a public depository for the city of Neenah, and I so move.
We have a motion by Erickson and a second by Steele to approve resolution 2018-22. Discussion on that motion? Alderperson Bates.
Thank you. I was wondering, Mike, how many other depositories do we have approved?
Don't know that I could name them all.
Just approximately. So it's not a unique situation.
We probably have at least 20, I would think, at this point.
So you keep an eye on what percentages look good out there, and
yeah, and keep an eye out locally. I already have a kind of a pipeline of what I could do nationally, but locally, sometimes you can get a better deal than what you can get someplace else and local.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on the motion to approve resolution 2018-22? Seeing none, all in favor of that resolution will vote aye electronically. Resolution 2018-22 is passes unanimously.
And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Chairperson. The regular plan commission was canceled, as was Neenah Menasha Fire Rescue Joint Finance and Personnel Committee. Brings us down to Roman numeral 10C and the Board of Public Works, Vice Chairman Hillstrom.
Thank you, Council President Stevenson. The minutes from this meeting can be found on the city website, September 25th. There's 2 informational items this evening. A is the board approved pay estimate number 6 for contract 1-18, miscellaneous sewer and water main construction and street construction on Andrew Avenue, Richard Avenue, Geiger Street, and Whiting Court, David Tenner Corporation of Green Bay for $246,240.30. Item B, the board approved pay estimate number 3 for contract 2-18, sewer and water main construction and street construction on Cecil Street and Adams Street to David Tenner Corporation, Green Bay, for $450,293.80. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Hillstrom. Takes us down to the Landmarks Commission report. Alderperson Lang.
Thank you, President Stevenson. There's no report from the Landmarks Commission tonight. Just a thank you to the Landmarks Commission for having sponsored the Voyager canoe rides at our recent intertribal powwow. They were very successful, and I think that the community really enjoyed that. So that's all I've got.
We're back to Mayor Crawford.
Thank you. Report from the Sustainable Neenah Committee. Alderman Coons, any report?
I have no report this time.
Thank you. Business Improvement District Board, the bid board. Alderman Lang.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got just a couple of items to report. The Retention and Recruitment Committee at our last meeting of the bid board, which was September 18th. The Retention and Recruitment Committee will review and discuss grants and how to fairly distribute them throughout the bid, as that has been an issue that's been discussed. Public Relations and Marketing Committee held the Employee Appreciation Day in downtown Neenah. That was very successful. A lot of employees in downtown participated in that, enjoyed that. Thankful to Dairy Queen for providing dilly bars to downtown employees. That was very successful, and people enjoyed that. Brian Falk from Plexus was at his first meeting for the bid as a new member. Another item, the snow removal map will be out in October. Van's recycling contract is up for renewal in downtown. And there was also some discussion related to fires that have occurred in the dumpsters downtown and having possibility of having cameras in the area. So Deputy Director Schmidt will be discussing that with the IS department. Otherwise, Boo Fest is October 20th. That's the last day of farm market. And a very Neenah Christmas is scheduled for December 7th. So just keep that in mind and put that on your calendar. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Christmas, is that close? Yeah. Holy smokes. All right.
No report. Ooh.
Report from the Berkshire Mahler Museum, Alderman Erickson.
Thank you, Mayor. The Berkshire Mahler Museum of Glass Board of Directors met today at 5:30. I encourage you to visit the Perthshire paperweights from the collection of Les and Angie Smith. That's going to be on exhibit September 28th through 2018 through September 20th, 2020. And you can view more than 900 paperweights from the renowned Scottish paperweight maker Perthshire. This is the first showing of the gift to the Berkshire Mahler Museum of Glass from the collection of Les and Angie Smith. I also encourage you to visit the Berkshire Mahler Museum of Glass website. There are a lot of great class opportunities that are available and other programming things that you can check out. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. There are no petitions. Any council directives anyone would like to discuss? Being unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? Maybe go ahead. Still.
Just ask about what's happening with this woman's house that is getting flooded repeatedly. Keep getting emails. It's not in my district, but I'm curious what's happening.
Are you referring to the property at 907 Harrison?
I believe so.
Yes.
The woman's name is Luz.
Yeah, it's one of the Habitat properties that was built several years ago. The issue is when I think there were 3 houses that were built at the same time in that location. Habitat designed a yard drain to drain the area, and that works for most rainstorms. But when we have the very heavy rains we've had recently, it overwhelms that system because the storm sewer in Harrison Street becomes surcharged, and it backs up and actually floods through the window. They have taken some steps to address the issue in terms of regrading the property and providing a window well for the window where it comes in, but it still has a problem. The system in that area is not capable of addressing the very heavy rains that we've had from time to time, and so we're looking at possible alternatives there. But it's a matter of addressing the overall system.
talk about.
As well. Sure. Also on unfinished business, Alderman Stevenson and I met earlier tonight, and Director Easker. We'd just like to talk a little bit on unfinished business with regards to the upcoming budget hearings and that, and see, propose, maybe throw out some dates, and let people know or to get information from you on what you would like to do. So, Todd?
Yeah, Mayor and I met this evening. The schedule as it relates now regarding 2019 operating budget, the mayor indicates that the budget will be available to us and delivered to us on October 19th. That's a Friday. If we took our typical week to digest it, we have the League of Wisconsin Municipality meetings that following week, the 24th, 25th time frame. I don't think we'd want to try to push any workshop sessions during that time. So we're talking about maybe doubling up and having finance and public services meet on the 29th. That would be Monday, with the idea of doing a full budget workshop on the 30th. So I'm going to give you these days, and I'll follow up with it tonight with an email to each of you, so you could react with whether those dates work for you. We're projecting both committees on the 29th, budget workshop on the 30th, potentially a budget workshop on Thursday the 1st. And we've also discussed a Saturday morning meeting on November 3rd, tentatively 8 to 12. That's what we'd be looking at. The next date could be potentially be November 5th. The elections are the 6th. They don't want to do anything there. And then a potential session on after council on November 7th. And then if we still need it, we have a follow-up of Thursday, November 8th. The budget hearing is scheduled currently for November 13th. So if you would please take a look at those dates. And again, like I said, I'll follow up tonight with an email. So you don't have to, I should have told you that. And then if you can get back to either the mayor or I with the dates availability, we'll get something out to you. Hopefully later.
What is the start time that you're looking at?
Okay, that's a good point. We're talking about theoretically on the 30th, maybe something as early as 5:30, 5:36. That would be a relatively. Last year we did 13 and a half hours of budget workshops in 5 nights. So if we would look at the hours, not necessarily the dates, we could do November 1st. Again, nothing else scheduled that night, so we could look at something 5:30 to 10, 5:30 to 9, and try to. As I get older, it gets harder for me to keep my concentration through those long hours. I think Saturday morning I'll probably be a little refreshed knowing that at noon I'd be done. So 8 to 12 would be 4 hours. Monday that would be, again, maybe 5 to 9 because the elections, people have to be up early on Tuesday. So volunteering for that. And then after Wednesday would be after the council. And then my hope would be if we did have to do anything on the 8th that it would be limited to a couple hours. So maybe 6 o'clock.
When we talked, we thought 2 nights were probably off limits. One is Halloween, and there's nothing magical about that, but not scary, but magical. We thought Halloween people would want to not meet, and also the election day. So, and I am the guy who threw out November 3rd, Saturday morning from 8 to 12, just to try it. I don't know if people are available. I don't know if that's going to work, but you know, and also there's nothing magical about the 13th, but that's the goal and the hope. I mean, if we had to go back to the next week, that is Thanksgiving week, because the 22nd is Thanksgiving. So I just wanted to so this isn't set in stone. Todd and I just met and said, throw this up for you to make some comments. Alderman Boyette.
I'm all for a Saturday, but not the 3rd, because I have Badger game tickets for that day. So I'm going to be at the football game.
Hopefully it's a 6:30 game.
We didn't
like this weekend.
Well, and they're all to be announced at this point, so I have no idea what time the game is
They're playing
going to be.
Rutgers that day. The 10th, they're at Penn State.
And I'm available the 10th.
Just telling you.
So we just drew it up as a possibility. I mean,
So why don't you, if you would, please check your calendars for the.
Unless anyone
Yes.
has any better suggestions. I mean, having 5 nights is difficult to cram in. Having 4 5-hour nights or 4-hour is difficult to cram in. So using focus. You know, how they did it 8 a.m. to 30 Saturday done, but you know, we're pretty thorough here. So check your schedules and let Todd or I know. Mike, do you have anything to add? Okay. Good. Thank you very much, Todd. And under new business, consideration of City of Neenah's position regarding $250,000 settlement offer from the Wisconsin Security Insurance Fund, Guarantee Association of Wisconsin to resolve a Neenah Monash Sewage Commission claim arising from the home insurance company liquidation. There is a memo attached. Attorney Godleski, add anything? Or
Thank you, Mayor. I will be happy to answer questions. This is close to the last settlement issue that we have to deal with on the PCB cleanup. Involves payment from the liquidation agency for home insurance, one of the insurers for the commission during the time of the PCB contaminations. The settlement offer, our claim was $500,000. The settlement offer is $250,000, which would be split between the cities of Neenah and Menasha, and this would offset somewhat the payment that we made for invoking the umbrella coverage of home insurance of $525,000 several years ago. So we would be recouping some of that money. The memo is pretty self-explanatory in terms of what's happening here. I'll be happy to answer any questions, but what we would be what we are recommending is that the council go on record as recommending that the commission accept the settlement offer.
comments or questions? One point, we weren't sure we were going to get anything.
That's right. That's right.
Alderman Stevenson.
I mean, my first instinct was we filed a claim, $500,000. They've offered $250,000. Can we?
They made according to the attorney that was handling it at the Von Briesen that's representing us on this matter.
Who?
Von Briesen and Bertel.
What's his name?
It's Elizabeth Miles.
Okay. Thank you.
She indicated that the attorney for the liquidation authority made it very clear that this was like a final offer.
Well, they always do that.
I understand, but I was not there for the negotiations. I don't think they were making a strong pitch that we were not eligible because our net worth was not high enough to justify the payment. So to get $250,000 was seen as pretty much a gift.
Anyone else? Do we have to take action?
Yeah, we're asking that the council go on record as recommending that the commission accept this offer. The same recommendation is going to be requested from the Menasha Council as well.
I would be open to a motion that would recommend the city of Neenah accept the settlement offer from stated.
The city of Neenah recommends the commission accept the
Recommends the commission. Are there any other questions, or is there? Alderman Coons?
Just a question: where does this money go then? And what's the
in the sewer fund?
All right, so this sits in there, and okay.
Sewer doing things. Sewer.
Yeah.
Right. Is there a motion? Interested?
I move to recommend Neenah Ashton Sewage Commission accept the settlement offer of $250,000 per the city attorney's recommendation.
Second.
There's a motion by Council President Stevenson, seconded by Alderman Lang. Discussion? If not, all in favor, vote aye. All opposed, vote no using the roll call machine. That motion passes 9-0. Any other announcements or questions for the council? Do they have anything tonight? Other than I have my Brewers tie on. So,
Go
Todd does not
Brewers.
have his Cubs tie on, I see. But Jim Godleski.
I have my brewer underwear on.
I'll take your word for it.
Thanks. I did have Monday. I decided to have on Friday to have a Brewer or Cubs Day, Todd. Just so you know, if employees wore Brewers or Cubs attire, they could wear jeans on Monday, past Monday, and we were all quite surprised. The city attorney even had Brewers attire on, so that was a big step for him. But there were a lot of people who had different shades of blue on, but we're all pretty excited about that. So that's cool, and we had a little bit of fun with it. So, any other announcements? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
There's a motion by Alderman Lundrum, seconded by
Second.
Alderman Bates. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We are adjourned.
Broadcasts of the City of Neenah Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin Fox Valley. Neenah residents can get information about City Council meetings, City Committee meetings, meeting agendas, and other documents via the City website, www.neenahgov.org. Neenah residents can express their opinions about city issues or about these broadcasts by contacting the mayor's office, contacting their city alderman, or by completing the electronic feedback form on the city website, www.neenahgov.org. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.